Hey everybody, Dogbear here, back in DC Worlds Collide with another character spotlight. This is going to be my first elite or purple character I want to talk about, and that is Mr. Freeze, aka Victor Freeze, or Fries, I think it's Freeze, that's the way they pronounce it. This is an interesting character. He is, of course, a blue character or intellect. He's also a tank. He is probably what a tank should be, or protector, whatever you want to call them. Because when we go and look at his kit then, you'll see what I'm talking about. So we look at his kit, his ultimate, when he casts it off the when you first get him, he has the front row ally target with the lowest proportion of hit points for a hit point equal to 20% of their max hit points. Also protects them within a frozen coffin, making them unable to take actions and granting them 75% damage reduction for 2 rounds. So in other words, they're not going to take a whole lot of damage because they're losing 3/4 of it right off the bat. Now, what makes Mr. Freeze so interesting, why he's such a good tank, is once you start leveling him up and actually have to really rank him up all the way to the 3 red, which is the most you can take in Elite Character 2, in order to get the most out of him. The reason being, as you can see with level 2, whenever the ally is attacked, they get healed for 3% of their max hit points, plus they add a stack of Frostbite to whoever the attacker is. If you didn't know, Frostbite deals damage equal to 10% of attack power for each stack, going up to 10 stacks. And then level 3 can actually dispels a debuff, and they get healed for 25% instead of 20%. So that's quite big. Getting even more healing out of it. Plus, whenever they get attacked the next 2 turns, they're going to be healing 3% of their hit points. Now, this was recently nerfed. This used to be every single attack would heal them. Such as Batman, who attacks 4 times with his ultimate, used to be 4 times it would heal. Now it's just 1 time. It's considered 1 attack, even though he's hitting you 4 times. So that's what it was, a bit of a nerf to Mr. Freeze, but he's still quite good because of this. Because you're taking 3/4, only 25% of the damage, and then you're getting healed for it, 3% of your max hit points. Is basic, who cares? He's not going to do damage. Chances are he's going to be inside of a frozen coffin most of the time. Because this is whoever the front row ally targets. So generally, he's in the front row. He can put himself in this coffin, and then he takes 75% reduction of damage. And that's why you don't really care about this. I mean, it's just damage. That's all it does. His base doesn't matter. And here's the other part of him that's also nice. At the start of a round, he heals himself for 5% of his max hit points. Healed him out, and is double if he's below 40%, so it goes up to 10%. When he takes damage that lowers him below 35%, he gives himself the frozen coffin anyway. So if he's not in it, he'll get it again. And that can only be triggered once in battle, and once you finally rank him up all the way, he now heals 7% every turn. So he doesn't do anything because he's in that coffin, he'll still heal for another 7%, on top of taking all that reduced damage. So you can see why he is quite a great tank. He's not going to do damage. As far as gear, you really just want hit points. To be honest with you, you don't really care about attacking this guy. You want like hit points or healing gear, stuff like that. I just have a mix of gear based on whatever I had. There's heal bonus 10%, just whatever I could get on him. His Renaissance links is with Penguin, Red Hood here, Poison Ivy, and Batgirl. As you can see, I only have the one because I only have Red Hood in this account. So you only got the 2% attack, hit points, and defense. If you get Penguin, you get 2% hit points and defense. And if you have Poison Ivy and Batgirl, which everybody gets Batgirl, so let's just get Poison Ivy, 2% attack, 4% hit points, 2% defense, which would make him even stronger. Alright, let's go into a battle now. Let's see how he does and how I set him up. I'm actually going to do a Convergence Crisis here. I've been working on these. This particular one is villains only. So no Tactical Renaissance for me because I don't really have a villain that I want to use. Using him with Grodd. I have him on the right. You could have him on the left. Actually, let's move him around. We're actually going against a Mr. Freeze in this battle. And as you can see in my ultimate, I have Grodd going because he only uses 2 energy. But then I have Mr. Freeze immediately going so he can stick somebody into that coffin and start get the damage reduction. And then our damage dealers can just you know, do their thing, or they're protected because that front row is so well protected with Mr. Freeze. Alright, here we go. Who's he going to put in the coffin? Himself. So now he's in that coffin, he's taking that reduced damage. You can see Grodd did almost nothing there. It's actually quite interesting that this team happens to have Captain Cold and Mr. Freeze on their side. Captain Cold is another good character to pair up with Mr. Freeze, either in the front row or put him in the back row, such as you're seeing in this team has, because then that he gets the additional shield from Captain Cold to help protect him. See, Freeze has not really taken a whole lot of damage. He got out of it, and now he heals up Grodd. Now, if he was to drop low enough, he would just automatically put himself inside of a coffin as well. So this isn't a great team I have here, because it's just villains. I don't have very many good villains. But it worked. Let's try the next stage. See if we can see a little bit more Mr. Freeze in action. Maybe... So I'm still punching down. So this is an interesting one because you actually have poison in this one. You can see Freeze automatically goes into that coffin. He got knocked down low enough. Got some heavy hitters over there with Red Hood and Poison Ivy. And then that poison, of course, also reduces healing. But thanks to Mr. Freeze, he just went to that coffin, saved himself, and we don't have any issues. Alright, let's take a look at one more fight. Alright, so this is a War World Beast Arena fight I recorded on my other account that has Mr. Freeze also at max level. This is using a Pandora, Constantine, and Frankenstein team. This is a punch across. So we get to see what Mr. Freeze looks like on the right hand side. We're taking big damage from Constantine. Frankenstein almost dead. Not anymore. Mr. Freeze heals him up and puts him in that coffin, protecting him. You take the healing reduction. Freeze got low. He puts himself inside the coffin. So both tanks are just standing there taking damage, taking a little bit of damage because they're both inside that coffin. Just protecting my damage dealers. Fortunately, can't do anything about the AoE damage dealers going to go against a Green Arrow and a Constantine. But that single target damage isn't doing a whole lot. When Mr. Freeze comes out, I'll go back in. And using this is why this team with Pandora and Constantine works so well, is that they can heal him up and heal up everybody else if they take damage from the AoE dealers. And while I was able to use this team also to do so on the same punch up in Evil Falls, one of the big reasons for that was because of Mr. Freeze. See, we've gotten through their two front row characters. I believe they have Batman, who's not a tank. Mr. Freeze literally just stands there and takes damage. That's how it works, and pretty good character. Like I said, he is an elite character. And one last thing before I go, another reason why you want to get Mr. Freeze and rank him up is because of character fusion. If you're unfamiliar with this, it allows you, once you have ranked up certain elite characters and gotten them totally ranked up and then get extra shards of them, to take those extra shards and cash them in for a elite character, whether you have them or not. And if you have them, it's more epic characters, the gold ones. They get more shards of them, which can then, of course, help rank them up. So as you can see, Mr. Freeze is actually used for Kid Flash, and along with Huntress and Harley Quinn. So if I was to get all three of these, I would get Kid Flash for free. I'm not going at 3 stars, but essentially you can just rank them up then real quick with blue characters and get them to 4 stars. And the other thing is Mr. Freeze is available in one of the new stores. I believe it is War World. So if you need some character shards of him for 120 of the War World credits right now, you can get 10 shards of the Mr. Freeze 4 times or 40 within 1 week. So I hope this video was informative and helpful for you, and helps you get an understanding of Mr. Freeze and why he, even though he is just a purple or epic or no elite character, sorry, he's a purple elite character in this game, why he's so good. And I'll see you next time.